What I want to talk to you about this morning is this idea of expanding our vision or opening the aperture of the lens through which we see ourselves, other people, and especially the way we see something difficult or / traumatic that has happened to us in the past. On our way back from Sedona, we did what we had been doing the whole trip, putting into our, Google Maps or whatever, the destination, the next place we wanted to get to. So when we were in Santa Fe, we entered in Kansas City because that was the next big jumping off point we wanted to get to. And we just kind of put it in and then looked at the little screen on the car and proceeded to follow the route that was in front of us, which was, about 6 inches or probably about 10 miles. And as we moved, we kept being able to see just another 10, 15, 20 miles in front of us. What we didn't realize is that some kind of route that wasn't the most main route was put into our Google Maps. And we found ourselves about 8 o'clock at night on 2-lane roads in the middle of nowhere. At one point, I think Carla said to me, "We're not in Kansas anymore." And I said, well, actually we are. We just don't know where in Kansas we are. So we continued to drive and to drive and to drive. And while we were able to see what was right in front of us, both by looking out of our windshield and by using this navigation system that gave us just a kind of a short perspective on what was happening, it led us down a road that probably wasn't the way we intended to go. But what happened, and then we proceeded to drive for the rest of the night. Around midnight, we slept in the front seats of our car in a John Deere implement parking lot, and just got the giggles and laughed and cried and snorted because it was exactly what was supposed to happen. But I tell you that whole story as a way to understand that that is often the perspective that we look back on a difficult situation or event in our lives, that we keep this fairly myopic, tunnel visioned view of what happened in the past. And a spiritual practice gives us the opportunity to expand or open the aperture on the lens through which we see something that happened in the past. It gives us the opportunity, you could say, to elevate the altitude at which we see something. And when we do that, we gain a wider perspective and we actually see new things. Carla kept saying, "I wish I had my Rand McNally. I wish I had my Rand McNally," meaning her atlas, where you could open up to a page that shows you the entire state of New Mexico and Oklahoma and Kansas, all states that we were driving through. And then we could have seen, oh, we're right here, and here's where we're trying to get to. And that would have brought some more clarity. We were eventually able to do that by scanning out on our Google Maps. And then once we saw where we were, we realized that this is where we're starting from. Okay? So the other thing that was really a learning experience throughout this past week was as we were driving through the Arizona and Utah and Denver, Colorado for that matter, and you see the topography where there's these massive mountains and low valleys, and some of the mountains have peaks and others have plateaus. You realize the force of nature that has brought about this topography. And we read some about the tectonic shifts in nature that had to happen billions of years ago to create what we were seeing. But what we also saw throughout the week was wind blowing, and there would often be dust or sand or this red rock floating in the air. And we came to understand that this was continually changing the landscape as well. And this is the way change happens in our lives. This is the way new perspective happens. From time to time, we have these tectonic shifts. All of a sudden, we see something differently. More often than not, however, it is the gift of time that helps us slowly, slowly see that everything is changing. Why we suffer when we look back on something that was difficult that happened in our past is because we refuse to let time have its way with that past event. So the invitation here is to notice if you are assuming too small, too myopic, too rigid of a perspective on something that happened in the past, and if you're, quote unquote, refusing to let it shift. When we apply, I'll say it that way, the law of nature to the way that we see something that's difficult, it automatically softens our experience of it. So I invite you to spend some time, especially this weekend when we are in the midst of a new moon, which is all about adopting new attitudes, new perspective, a wider lens through which to see your life, to do that and to take this time to do it. This is what coming onto our yoga mat or coming onto our meditation cushion is here for. It's these regular little checkpoints that we drop into to say, where am I? And how did I get here? And how can I not see this as the end of the journey, but as a point on the journey? And the even more challenging work is to not decide what the ultimate destination is, but to use wherever you are to be where you're meant to be on the path to get to where you are going next. Okay? It opens up life and make it much more exciting, interesting, adventuresome, and there's much less suffering when we come into that viewpoint, a grander, wider perspective. So with that, we're going to practice both being where we are and letting go of the need to find an anchor into a destination, and allow the slow and progressive nature of the way we move to take us where we're supposed to go. You know, there's that phrase or that saying that you can't get there from here. I'm going to take issue with that. You can get anywhere you want to go as long as you know where you are right now. And then you use this brave, heroic approach of scanning up or moving up and away from it and letting go of your rigid mindset about what was true and fold into or fall into a new truth and a new perspective. Okay, let's practice. Let's start just seated, cross-legged on your mat. So Sukhasana, easy seat, please. I mentioned earlier that you might want a blanket nearby. Have the blanket nearby just kind of rolled up a little bit like this, or almost into a tube. Okay? And we're not going to use it till much later. And we're going to use it for compass pose, which is, you could call our peak pose this morning. Okay? Allow your eyes to blink closed briefly here. Turn your palms down onto the tops of your knees. So you start with this sense of ground and earth in your being. From that ground, feel your sit bones pressing into the planet. Feel your spine tall and erect. Let it be strong and bright, but not rigid and firm. Make your body into a mountain here. Feel the parts of your body that are strong and anchor you to where you are right now. But also notice that the breath and the flow of circulation in your body is part of the mountain as well. And those elements of the mountain are continually ushering in shifts and changes. And let this be a metaphor for being a mountain. You're not rigid and resistive. You're present and continually changing and shifting through the gift of time. Deepen the breath and feel the lungs expand and contract. Soften in the jaw and the cheekbone and the forehead area of your face. Bring your hands together in front of your heart and place in between your palms this difficult past experience or person in your life, and hold them gently there, or that experience there, as if you are bringing it into your heart, recognizing that your heart is the alchemical chamber, the place where you can experience this softening and this opening, the place where you can find a new path forward for yourself. Don't need to do anything more with that experience or event or person right now other than place it in your heart. And then blink your eyes open and move into tabletop position, please. Coming forward onto hands and knees. And start to find a sifting and a winnowing quality by just moving your body in any form or fashion that you want to move it. Listen to the muscles and the bones and the tissue and the breath, and let it tell you what it needs. And then you can find a few more maybe dramatic movements by rotating the spine through cat and cow. The inhale, the belly lowers and the gaze lifts. And on the exhale, you round the spine, drawing the middle of the body into a peak. And then exhaling and letting the belly soften and flow towards the ground. Do that a couple more times. And then curl your toes and make your way to downward facing dog, please. Once you arrive in downward facing dog, pedal out your feet. And then come up high onto your tiptoes. Swivel both of your heels over to the right, and then just let them move down towards the floor. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. And then come up onto your tiptoes again, swivel both heels over to the left, and let your heels go down to the ground. Inhale back up onto your tiptoes in the center. Exhale both heels to the right. Once more to the center, and then once more to the left. Find the middle again, and then step your way up to the top of your mat. When you get there, bend your knees, press your ribs into your thighs, and find a deep forward fold with legs generously bent here. You can bring opposite hand to opposite elbow and sway a bit from side to side. Feel the sturdiness of your base and the movement like wind crossing over the top of a mountain, causing gentle, incremental changes in the body. And then release your arms, slowly roll yourself up. Come up into Urdhva Hastasana, high mountain pose. Draw your hands to your heart center. Acknowledge this as your starting place. Deep breath in. Exhale your arms to your side for Tadasana. Bring your hands to your heart center. Exhale everything out. Inhale, sweep your arms up over your head. Exhale, hinge and forward fold down to your mat. Just step right back into a downward facing dog here. So both feet step back. They're about hip distance apart. Pull yourself out long to plank from here. Breathe in. Let both your heels shift over to the right and exhale. Bring your heels back to the middle and just pivot both heels to the left and exhale. Inhale back to the middle. Press your hips high and back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in. As you exhale, walk forward. Find the top of your mat and a forward fold. Rise all the way up, breathing in. Sweep the arms high up over your head. As you exhale, you're going to fold right down all the way into Uttanasana, forward fold. Find a halfway lift, come up, look forward. And then as you exhale, step your right foot to the back of your mat. Find a lunge here. Move it into downward facing dog. Come out long into plank pose and lower all the way to your belly, knees up or down. Keep your elbows in close and come down to the belly. Flip your feet, lift up into a Bhujangasana and lower back down. Take yourself to downward facing dog, traveling through tabletop, and then lift your right leg towards the sky. Step your right foot forward between your thumbs. Find the lunge, and then step your left foot forward to meet your right one, folding in. Come up all the way to high mountain, and we're going to go right back down into Uttanasana, forward fold. Lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Step back with the left foot and be in the lunge, heart shining forward. Move it into downward facing dog. Pull out long to plank. Lower the way you're going to lower, knees up or down to your belly. Rise to Bhujangasana, all 10 toes on the floor. Move it into downward facing dog and exhale all the breath out. Lift your left leg. Step your left foot forward between your thumbs. Lift, open, spread through the heart. And then step the right foot forward and fold into yourself. Rising high on the inhale, come into high mountain pose. This time sit down in Utkatasana as you exhale. Stay here, drawing the hips back, arms up alongside the ears. Deep breath in, fold as you exhale. Step back with the right foot again. Come into the lunge, and this time you're going to add in a pyramid pose. So the back foot, the right one, might step up a fraction or a lot, and then both legs are straight as you fold forward. Now lift your left toes off the floor here. So the left heel stays on the ground, just the toes lift. You're gazing just out in front of your toes. Roll the bottom of your front foot onto the mat. Lift your right leg straight up behind you. So it's not needle, it's just like an L shape. Now step all the way to the back of your mat. You're in a lunge again. Plant your palms left leg, goes high to three-legged downward facing dog. Then bring the left foot down by the right one. Pull out long to plank and lower down all the way or halfway. Come into your back bend, Bhujangasana, or upward facing dog, and make your way to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg towards the sky. Step your right foot forward. You're in a lunge, and then you transition it to pyramid. So left foot might step up. Now curl the right toes up this time. Roll forward onto the bottom of the right foot. Lift the left leg straight up and out behind you. And then step the left foot forward next to the right and fold in. All the way up on your big full in breath to high mountain. Bring your hands to your heart. Release your arms to your side and exhale. Bring your hands back to your heart. Breathe in. Stay here and exhale. Sweep the arms high up over your head. Sit down in Utkatasana and breathe out. Take a breath. Forward fold and exhale that breath out. Step back with your left foot. Feel the lunge. Change it into pyramid. Curl the right toes up towards your body. Then roll forward, press into the right foot, extend the left leg straight out behind you. Then it's a bigger step back, so you come back into a lunge here. Plant your palms, sweep your right leg high up behind you. And then set your right foot down. Come out into plank. Lower the way you're gonna lower. That's such a Keith Borden phrase. And then lift up into your back bend and find your way to downward facing dog. Extend your left leg high to the sky. Step forward. You're in a lunge first. Then you move to pyramid, maybe by stepping your right foot forward some, lengthening through the left leg, curling the left toes up towards your face. Rocking forward, pressing into the left foot, extend the right leg straight out behind you. And then step your right foot next to your left. Fold into yourself. Float all the way up into high mountain. Hands to the heart, exhale. Inhale your arms to your side. Exhale them back to your heart. And we go again. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Sit down in Utkatasana, exhale. Breathe in, forward fold, breathe out. Step back with your right leg, be in a lunge. Change it into pyramid. Roll the left toes back towards your face. Roll onto the bottom of your left foot, extend your right leg straight out behind you. Step back into a lunge. Go to three-legged down dog. Now the left leg sweeps up to the sky behind you. Then bring the left leg in. Sweep it underneath your right arm, between your right arm and right leg. And just let the toes go off straight out to the side here. That's it for now. And then sweep it back up to the sky. Set your left foot down by your right one, downward facing dog. Pull out to plank, lower. Be in the back bend while you're inhaling and transition to downward facing dog. As you exhale, lift your right leg to the sky. Step your right foot forward. Feel the lunge. Transition it to pyramid pose. Curl your right toes up towards your face. Roll forward, press into the right foot. Extend the left leg behind you. And then step both feet together at the top of your mat and fold in. Bring yourself up to high mountain on a full, strong inhale. Hands to your heart as you exhale. Inhale, arms by your side. Exhale, your hands back to your heart. Inhale, take your arms out wide, up and over your head. Forward fold all the way down as you exhale. Stepping back with the left foot, be in a lunge. Turn it into a pyramid pose. Let your right toes curl towards your face. Roll onto the bottom of your right foot. Extend your left leg straight out behind you. Now step your left foot all the way to the back of your mat and be in the lunge. Take it into three-legged down dog. Right leg lifts towards the sky. And then you bring the right knee in towards your belly and extend your right leg off to the left side of your mat. And just be there. Go back to three-legged down dog with the right leg lifted and set it down. Come out to plank. Lower how you're going to lower. Into your back bend. And to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg high to the sky. Bring it through and step up by your thumbs. Be in the lunge. Both hips up and back as you fold into pyramid pose. Left toes curling towards your face. Roll onto the bottom of your left foot. Lift the right leg straight behind you. And then step the right foot forward. You're coming into Uttanasana, forward fold. Float all the way up. Uncoil, unravel. Extend, arms high up over your head. Hands to the heart. Arms to the side for Tadasana. And just check in with yourself here. Feel the softening. Feel the energy. Feel the inspiration. Feel the guidance that your flow is offering you. And usher more of that in. Okay, exhale everything out right here. And then bring your hands to your heart center and inhale. Exhale it all out right here. Inhale, big sweep of the arms. Swan dive down now, so take the arms out wide, palms facing away from you. Hinge at the hips. Find a nice, long forward fold. Step back with your right leg. Present your heart to the front of the room. Come into pyramid pose right away, rolling the left toes up towards your face. Rock back onto the bottom of your left foot. Extend your right leg behind you. And now step all the way back so you're in a lunge again. Sweep your left leg to the sky, three-legged downward facing dog. Pull the left knee into the belly. Sweep the left leg off to the right side of your mat. And then sweep your right arm up to the sky as your right heel lowers to the mat. That's a variation on Vastisthasana. Bring your right hand back down. Take your left leg right up into three-legged downward facing dog. And listen, then come into a shape of like a pigeon. Bring your left knee up by your left ankle here. Then you're just going to roll onto your left sit bone. So just let that left sit bone come to the ground. Reach back with your right hand and reach your right big toe. Take your left hand off on an angle and just open this up here, okay? So feel the support of the left hip and thigh and knee on the ground. Left arm is out there, kind of like a, let's call it leaning mountain. Okay, then come back. Place your hands shoulder distance apart. Lift up off your left sit bone. Go to three-legged downward facing dog. Send the left leg straight up. Bring your left foot down by your right one. Look forward, bend your knees. Here's your chance to step, jump, or walk to the top of your mat. Find your halfway lift, and then bow into yourself. Rise on the inhale, high mountain. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, arms by your side. Exhale, always back to the heart. Inhale, big sweep of the arms high up over your head. Turn your palms out, exhale, and swan dive down to your mat. Step back with your left foot this time. Feel the lunge. Turn it into pyramid pose. Right away, the right toes curl up towards your face. Roll forward, press into the bottom of the right foot. Lift the left leg straight out behind you. Now step the left foot all the way to the back. You're in the lunge again and move it into three-legged down dog. The right leg will go up to the sky. Pull the right knee into the belly. Turn the right foot out over to the left side of your mat. Maybe that's where you stay. Maybe you wing your left arm up. And then bring the left arm down. The right leg is going to go back up into three-legged downward facing dog. And then you come into that pigeon shape, bringing your right knee by your right wrist. But it's sort of a poor pigeon in that we do want to now bring our right sit bone down to the floor, okay? Troy, you look like a falling pigeon there a second ago. Sweep your left arm behind you. Bend your left knee. Catch the big toe side. And then maybe your right arm props out a little bit further. So just kind of get this interesting line, interesting stretch in the body. Yeah, see somebody who has their right arm up. That's a beautiful expression. Good. And then let go of your foot. Roll up off your right sit bone, three-legged down dog again. Right leg lifts. Excuse me, bring your right foot down by your left one. And just look forward, take a breath in. As you exhale, step, jump, or walk to the top of your mat. Half lift, forward fold. Rise on your inhale. Reach your arms over your head. Exhale your hands to your heart. Arms to the side. Tadasana, it means mountain pose. Check in again. Feel both feet. Maybe they're touching, maybe they're shoulder distance apart, but find a sturdy base and rise from it. Okay. Put your left hand on your hip, please. Use your right hand to draw your right foot up into tree. Maybe your big toes stay on the floor, then you don't need your hand, but maybe your right hand reaches for your right ankle and brings your heel right up towards the center of your body. Eventually move your hands to your heart. Press them together gently, and so you feel how that brings energy and life up into the top of the mountain. And then your left hand is going to find the outside of your right foot, right by your pinky toe. So your left arm crosses over, Right hand goes onto your hip. Stand up nice and tall here. This could be where you stay, or your right leg goes forward. Right arm lifts and reaches back behind you. And feel yourself kind of pressing and reaching and extending in all the directions. Reach your arms up over your head. Keep your right leg lifted. And then as your right leg comes down, just let your arms come down by your side. Deep breath in here. Exhale it out. Now we'll do the second side. Bring your right hand onto your hip. Find your version of tree, whether your big toe stays on the floor or your left heel comes up higher into the center of your body. Find the tall, beautiful line of energy from the ground through the crown of the head. Press your palms together. Bring the brightness and the lightness into the whole shape here. And then cross your right hand to the outside edge of your left foot. Extend the left leg in front. Keep the spine tall. Maybe you need to keep a bend in the left knee to make that happen. Left arm reaches high and then behind. And then slowly come out of it, releasing, bringing both feet of the mountain onto the ground and letting it go. As you inhale, reach your arms high up over your head. As you exhale, hinge and forward fold down to your mat. Find a halfway lift and then a fold. Bend your knees, set your palms on the earth, step back to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg towards the sky. Bring your right knee forward into that pigeon shape again. So bring the right knee close to the right wrist. Work the left leg straight back behind you here so that the shoulders feel like they're almost coming right over the hips. And just stay here, lifted in this pigeon shape for a few breaths. Drag the shoulders down, away from the ears. Notice if you're feeling a lot of tightness in the low back. And then see if you can soften somewhere else in your body to take that tightness away. Okay, then tense your right hand out off on an angle again. Roll onto your right sit bone. Bend your left leg, reach back and find the big toe. Find that kind of, I don't know, I guess I'm gonna call it open leaning mountain. And then let go of your left foot. Sweep your left leg around towards the front of your mat here. And then move your right foot to the inside of your left thigh. Extend your arms up over your head and reach forward out beyond your left toes. Just come down about halfway though. And then inhale, go back up. And exhale, fold a little deeper here. Now walk your hands forward, towards you, I should say. Cross your right foot to the outside of your left thigh now. Extend your left arm up over alongside your head and turn it into a twist. So your left arm can elephant trunk around your right shin, and then you twist, or the left elbow comes down to the right thigh. Big spine, this is your mountain. This is the energy at the core of the mountain that stays still, and then everything around it rotates and shifts. So okay, unravel. Place your fingers on the floor right kind of next to your sit bones. Come into a modified boat pose. So your shins and your calves are parallel to the floor. You could keep your hands on the ground for support, or you could take your arms out alongside your legs. Okay, cross one ankle in front of the other, doesn't matter which. Roll forward and come into a little squat. Keep your toes crossed here though. I'm turning towards you so you could see. Lift your heels up, right? And then float. Reach your arms out like some exotic prehistoric bird. Play with balance. Play with the wind underneath your wings. Beautiful. Make your way to downward facing dog, yogis. It's beautiful to watch you. Take your heels and anchor them down towards the floor. Lift and spread your sit bones. Hollow out the belly some. Press away from the earth. Whole body in the shape. And then extend your left leg up towards the ceiling. I'm going to turn around here. Lift your left leg up to the ceiling. Come into pigeon. So bring your left knee up by your left wrist. Work your right leg back. Turn to the top of your back foot. Press your fingers like little tents, stakes into the ground. Just stay lifted here in pigeon. Do that work again of scanning the body, especially the low back, and seeing where you can soften or where you're translating what you're feeling in your back into another part of your body, which I tend to do in my shoulders. So I think about lowering my shoulders, softening my shoulders, easing into the sensation in my body. Okay, then lay down on or sit down onto your left sit bone and swing your right leg around to the front. Find Janu Sirsasana, so the left foot is on the inside of the right calf. Sweep your arms up. Just go halfway down on the first pass. Exhale. Then inhale, rise back up. And this time, descend as far as your body wants to go today. And walk your hands back towards you. Cross your left foot over to the outside edge of your right leg. Inhale the right arm up towards the sky. And then either that elephant trunk around the left shin or the lowering of the right elbow down. And then tall, majestic center line with a spiraling expression around that center line. All right, untwist. We'll come at all the shapes a little different on this side. Bring your left leg out in front of you like it's in pigeon again. Sweep your right leg back around behind you. Tense your left hand, arm off on an angle. Then bend your right knee, reach back, find your big toe side. And it's a little bit of a press of the belly. It almost has a bit of a back bend experience. So press the hips and the belly and the chest towards the front right corner of your mat. One more breath here. And then let go of your right foot. Sweep it back around to the front of your mat, coming into boat pose. So lift your legs, find the expression you're going to work with today, either bent legs. Maybe the second time you want straight legs. And then if you remember which ankle was in front last time, do the opposite one. Roll forward, come up into that little perched squat. Your heels are off the floor here. You're just on the ball mounds of your feet. And out go your wings. Gorgeous. One more breath. Nice. Bring your wings down by your side. Use them to sit down onto your mat in Sukhasana. Easy shape again. Cross-legged seat. Okay, let's work towards compass. And this is a challenging pose for me with an injured shoulder, so mine won't look pretty, I'll tell you that. So you might want to grab your rolled up blanket now. You see, place it near your right sit bone to start with. Okay? And then pick up your right leg and just do this. Your kind of right hand is on your knee, your left hand is scooped under your right foot, and you're just, it feels like you're oiling your right hip to me. And then after you do that a few times, see if you can bring your foot into your left elbow crease. Maybe this is where you stay, working towards not rounding through the spine, but that tall, majestic center line. Maybe your right hand wraps around the outside, and now it's like you're cradling your right leg. So this could easily be where you stay. Another option is to tuck that blanket underneath your right sit bone now, just so you have a little something to press into. Your right arm scoops under your right leg, and you work it so that your leg is getting up towards the top of your right shoulder. Your left hand comes over the top of your right foot, so like a hook. Your right arm now reaches out to the side of your mat like a kickstand. And then the work is lengthening your leg and tucking underneath your left arm here. So think about pressing your right sit bone down into the blanket or the ground if it's still there. Beautiful. Keep the spine as tall as you can. Make that more important than the strong or a straight right leg. Okay, and then bend your right leg. Come out of the shape and back into easy seat. Move the blanket away and over to the left side. And just pause here and check in with yourself. And then we'll move to the other side. Start by getting the blanket close by so you don't have to reach for it. And then do that oiling of the left hip. So just holding the left foot with the right hand. The left hand is just kind of guiding that back and forth motion. And then you can move further by placing the foot in the right elbow crease. So right away I went into this rounded position. I want to work towards finding a tall, straight spine. You really feel that in the left hip. And then it's the cradle, and you can add a rock again if you want. And then you move the blanket under the left sit bone. Tuck it in there. Scoop your right hand over the top of your left foot. Work your left arm underneath your left leg here. So kind of take some time and really kind of move the flesh as much as you can towards the top of the left shoulder head. And then the left arm becomes a kickstand. And then you work towards looking underneath your right arm. Continue to breathe. Slowly bend your left leg. Move the blanket out of the way. And come into a diamond shape in your legs. So have the heels away from the center body. Just when you look down, you'll see a diamond. And then bring your hands forward. You could even scoop your hands underneath the pinky toe side of your feet here. And then let your elbows bow out forward and towards the front of your mat as you keep your spine long here. So you're not rounding through the front of the body or the back of the body. The spine is long. Keep anchoring back down into the sit bones. So there is this experience of staying still and stationary where you started, but also and expanding and in expressing from that place. And now the last few breaths, round, curl, fold in. Let your chin come towards your chest. Let there become a curve in the spine and a softening throughout the whole body. And then lift up. Walk your hands up your legs. Bring your knees together, but we'll actually separate your feet, hip distance apart. Okay? And place your arms behind you and sashay your knees from side to side. When you spend 12 hours one way in the car with another yoga teacher, you talk about what they call things. I don't think I'll ever be able to call this windshield wiper again. It's forever sachet. So bring your legs, your knees back to center. Reach your arms forward. Sit up nice and tall. Turn your palms up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, go halfway down. As you inhale, reach forward, come forward, press forward. Exhale, round, chin to chest. Rise up, reach your arms in front of you. Bring your knees back to center. Exhale, Lower all the way down this time, all the way down onto your back. When you arrive, extend your arms up over your head. Find a full body stretch. And then bring your arms back to your side body. Separate your arms and legs away from the midline of your body. Turn your palms up. Allow your ankles to relax and your toes to flap to the side. And now, feel muscle releasing from bone. Skin softening and releasing from the muscles. The whole body, soft, weathered, and beautiful. Allow your brain and your mind to just sit down at the back of your skull. Set it down. Set down worn out ideas and perspectives and attitudes and judgments. Set it down. And then enjoy your rest and know that when we rise again, you come up and back into your life with a clean slate, a new beginning. But for now, drift, release, and let go. Start to deepen your breath and reconnect with your life force, that beautiful prana. Feel it as a breath of fresh air and fresh eyes to see an old, outdated way of seeing something. Slowly roll onto one side and bring yourself up to a seated position. When you arrive, just allow your arms to rest by your side and the palms in your lap. With your eyes softly closed, be here now. And from behind your closed eyes, go higher in altitude, fly higher over a situation in your past. And from your higher perspective, see it different. This is the gift of awareness. This is the gift of the practice. It allows us to change, literally change our reality. Not because we change what actually happened, but because we develop the eyes to see it from in a new way. And now before we close, take whatever it is that you are holding in your heart, place it in the middle of a circle. And from that place, recognize that you don't know the end of that story yet. It takes a long, long time, perhaps forever, to know the true ending of something. Gather your hands in front of your heart, honoring where you started, honoring where you want to stay as a yogi on a path. The light and love inside of me honors and sees the light and love inside each of you. Namaste.